production booth here. You're going to see the production booth. You'll come back out and everything. Other than that, Mayor Patterson, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Third graders from West.
Yeah.
And there you go. Oh, you want?
Thank you. I'm moved. I'm moved. I really am. That's awesome.
Happy birthday!
Something about the birthday song. I know you guys have questions, and before we get into your questions, which I'm really looking forward to, let me tell you a little bit about myself so you have some sense of who I am and where I've come from. I've lived here in Athens, I think longer than most of you, but not longer than some others. I've lived here for 18 years. I came here originally from Portland, Oregon, is where I grew up as a small child, went to school there, but started migrating my way across and landed here in Athens and loved it here so much that I wanted to start getting into city politics. About 4 years ago, I decided to run for what Mr. Thompson was telling you about, what Scott was talking about with City Council, the legislative body who makes laws, is the one it's the body of city government that oversees the finances and approves financial, spending money on things like the city pool, like fire trucks, police cars, all those kinds of things. And I did that for 4 years. And then when the former mayor said he didn't want to run anymore, like some of you watching you earlier with answering questions, I started jumping up and down, raising my hand and said, I'm going to run. I would like to be the mayor of the city of Athens. I was fortunate that the city of Athens voted me to be the mayor of Athens. There weren't a lot of other choices, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, my role of being the chief executive for the city is that I'm kind of like the manager over the city. I've got 171 employees that work for the city, and I am kind of the top of the pyramid. I have lots of staff who work under me and for me, who oversee the other departments, things like the water treatment plant where we get our safe, clean drinking water, the wastewater treatment plant where we take care of waste and whatnot, our code enforcement office, our police department, our fire department, our engineering and public works, those are the guys that get out there whenever we have a water line break, especially any time of the year, but during the winter months when it's really nasty and cold outside, and these guys will sit there and brave it and go out there and repair that water line or sewer line. There's a lot of working pieces to city government. How old are most of you in third grade?
9.
Not 8 and 9. Okay. Well, 9, 8. Okay. Well, I've got. Is anybody in here a twin? Do I have any twins in the group? No.
Except for
Brothers? Okay.
Michael and Mitchell.
Yeah, they're not.
Well, I have 2 twin daughters. They're 4 years old, so they're half your age. And I know how inquisitive they are with me on a daily basis. So I think now's a good time for me to turn it over and open questions up to you guys, if you have questions for me. Yes?
What is the most important job?
The most important job for me is making sure that the city is running smoothly. That and being the parent of 2 4-year-old daughters.
How do you feel about being
I love it. It's a big job. It's not always an easy job. As a matter of fact, often it's not. But it's an interesting time in the city of Athens to where I think there's some really interesting, cool things that we could grow into as a city. And so I'm someone who likes to explore things, try new things. And so
Have you met my dad yet at City Athens? Have you met the workers litters on the road?
Some of them I have, not all of
Did
them.
you meet Brad Shields?
You know, I don't think that I have. Not yet.
If you meet him, ask him.
Okay, I will. I will. And your name is?
Michael.
Michael. All right. Yes.
What are you going to do about the littering problem?
That's a great question. That's a great question. There's something that I'm working on, and it's going to take some time yet. Well, number one, we have a litter control officer who goes out and is looking to see who's littering and who's not littering, and hopefully get corrective action, get some corrections there. But I'm working on some things to get some better trash cans in the uptown area. We're also trying to explore some ways. How many of you like chewing gum? What do you do with your gum when you're done chewing it?
Put it on a piece of paper and throw it in the trash. Put it in the trash.
I like what I'm hearing from most of you. We should spit it out and put it into the trash can. But unfortunately, sometimes people think that the gum is an okay thing to throw on sidewalks. Well, one of the things, don't do that. I like the way you responded to that. One of the things that I would like to do is help change that culture too, by getting equipment that can help clean the sidewalks to get the gum litter up off the streets. Yes?
Has it been nice since your first day on the job?
Has it been nice since the first day of my job? Other than the snowstorm that we had last weekend, it has been nice. It's every day you see something different. Every day I encounter something, sometimes things that aren't necessarily fun to deal with, but you have to deal with them. Other times getting to meet with all of you, which is fun. This is fun to me. Yes? Uh-huh.
Why did you want to be mayor?
Why did I want to be mayor?
Yes.
I wanted to be mayor because I think that now is the time for making some positive changes in the city and kind of moving the city in a little bit different direction. And so timing was just right, is the best answer I can give you. Yes? What's it like being the mayor? It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of responsibility, but it's also, there's lots of rewards that come with it, with being the mayor. There's a lot of honor that comes with being the mayor, to know that the citizens of Athens, the people who all live here, have said, okay, we're entrusting you to make good choices and to move the city forward. So along with that, there comes responsibility, but also honor that comes along with that, which I respect that. Right here. Things like this. I love engaging with people. I like getting out and talking to people. I wish there was more time in my day to where I could walk up and down Court Street and just talk to people and walk along. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes it is. I like to engage. I like people bringing their ideas forward. I was listening earlier about how this is called council chambers. And the question to ask of you guys is, who sits in these seats? Well, the citizens sit in these seats. You guys are citizens. Being the mayor, it's a little bit different. Yet I do have times during the day when I like citizens to come into my office and engage with me as well. So I'm a very open door kind of mayor. Back in the back. I'll try to get around to everybody. Yep. Sorry? When I first came to Athens, I was an assistant professor at Ohio University teaching psychology. And have been doing that for 18 years.
When did you start wanting to be mayor?
That's a good question. I wanted to be a mayor, seriously considered being a mayor, when our former mayor, Paul Weil, was starting to talk about not wanting to run for city office again as mayor of the city of Athens. That's when I started thinking about it. While he was mayor, I thought he did a fine job, but no one knew whether he was going to run again. And when he said he didn't want to, again, just like you guys were doing, I raised my hand and said, I'll do it.
Like, what kind of work do you do, like, specifically to help the city?
To help the city? Again, trying to figure out solutions that are sustainable when it comes to litter control. Some other things that that come up are, I hear a lot of issues from time to time, more often than I want to, about things like streets or sidewalks that aren't accessible to people who might live with a disability, to where they're in a wheelchair or have to use crutches. Anybody in here ever had to use crutches before? Not easy sometimes getting around with crutches and having to open doors to things. So, you know, working through things like that. There's a lot of things. Planning to where, you know, what are some of the next big improvements to the city of Athens is something I do on a daily basis. I'm not going to say it's hard. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of planning, a lot of having to think through. I do know that after I put my daughters to bed in the evening, I'm usually very tired. I'm ready for bed. Way back in the back.
How do you manage if I manage?
How do we split the money? We have what's called the city budget, and the city budget, all my department heads, so my police chief, my fire chief, my chief engineer, the engineer, the director of engineering and public works, the director for arts, parks, and recreation. He oversees the city parks and the swimming pool and all those kinds of things. They put forward their requests in terms of budget for both income, you know, for paying salaries, but also things that they want to improve within the parks or the fire department, whatever. And we sit there and start putting all the pieces together for the budget. Yeah.
Did you have any family members that were mayor before?
No. No, it's interesting in my family, this is going back way a long time ago. Back in 1849, 1850, my great-great-great-grandfather was the magistrate for what ultimately became Portland, Oregon back in the day. But that's the only one that I know of. No mayors in my family that I'm aware of. And when I told my father I was going to run for city council, he looked at me and he said, "Oh boy." Yes?
What do you have to do as a mayor? Is it hard?
Again, it's a lot of decision making, a lot of meetings that I have throughout the day, where I have to meet almost like the different content of courses that you have to go through on a daily basis, where you have reading and you have math and you have social studies, I would imagine, or science. My day is kind of set up like that too, where during different parts of the day I'm doing different things. It's a full day, much like a day in school for me, and then some.
What is it? How do you feel when you're mayor?
How do I feel? Humble. It's a big responsibility, and it's one, like I said, that I've been entrusted by the citizens to take on, and so, you know, it's I don't take it lightly. It's a big responsibility. How old am I? How old do you think I am? Take a guess, and you won't offend me. How old do you think I am? Say again? 99.
41.
Ooh.
50.
Right. He's a keeper.
I'm 56 years old today.
I'm off by 3.
Thank you.
Mommy, Bo, have you gone?
You're as old as my uncle.
I'm as old as your uncle?
I thought he was like 20 or 25.
Okay. Logan, thanks for your crying hand, buddy.
What do you mostly work on?
What do I mostly work on? You know, recently I've been working a lot on a couple different big projects. I don't know if any of you noticed at the end of Court Street here, there's this big, huge castle-looking building. How many of you guys have you noticed the armory that's at the end of Court Street? Yeah, I've been working on that to see if we can't turn that into, keep it, the building as it is, but turning it into possibly a cultural arts center where we can go and listen to people playing music or watch a play or hold a meeting, you know, possibly bringing all the school systems together in one place and having something. I don't know if it'd hold the whole school system, but things like that. That's kind of the things I work on a daily basis, thinking about how we can improve the city. Yes?
What kind of work do you do?
Sorry,
Make sure that you're listening, because if someone already asked that question, maybe you could ask something different.
It's all the same
Okay,
question.
We already answered that question.
Worded differently.
Yeah. Can you think of something else, Jacob? Or do you want me to come back to you? Come back, okay. Let's say, all right.
Thank you.
This might, I've been asking a couple people in here, but do you know Dr. Peppa?
Do I know Dr. Grippa? Here in Athens?
Yes.
The name sounds really familiar to me.
Old middle school principal.
Sounds really familiar.
All right, thanks, Sebastian. Kale, do you have a question you haven't answered?
I have a question that's not on my paper.
Good.
Why does some of the windows have this metal framework on them?
Why does what?
Why do some of the windows have like a metal system on it?
Metal frames around them?
Or metal bars on them?
Yeah.
Well, some of it is, I think, way back when was for, you know, just protection of the glass and things of that like that. But we've kind of made some changes in the city building to where we've taken away some of those metal bars because it looks nicer to have more light coming into the room.
I think they're also to prevent. I have a guess. I think they're also to prevent people from just breaking their glass and going into a place that they're not.
That could be part of it too. Yep. Other questions?
No.
No? No question?
Jacob, did you think of something?
So, what do you like working with your staff,
I do.
or do you like working by yourself?
Oh, that's a really good question. You know, both. More so working with my staff, but I spend a lot of time traveling and going to other cities and kind of seeing how other cities do things. I was up in Columbus last week looking at their armory and seeing how they make things happen in their armory. I also went to another city called Mansfield. Has anybody in here been to Mansfield, Ohio? I was up in Mansfield and I was looking at a cafeteria, really a cafe, that they have built up there in Mansfield to where the people who are serving the food are individuals who live with disabilities, but they're learning how to work in in restaurants, in the restaurant industry, and trying to figure out how I can transplant that here to Athens. So I like thinking on my own, but I also like thinking with my staff.
Another question. How often is it like the courtroom?
How often is it like a courtroom?
No, how often do you visit?
As little as possible.
I mean, like, I'm not sure. Okay. There's that big room and I don't know what it's called.
Did you guys go in there today?
Yeah.
The municipal court?
Yeah.
Yeah, the big room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I want my office to be someday. The mayor typically does not go in there unless, well, yeah, typically not.
Okay, one more question. If you haven't had a chance yet.
Do you usually stay up on the third floor or do you go down?
You know, I spend the majority of my time down on the first floor where Mr. Lucas was showing you guys around and what takes place down there. My office is down there. But every Monday night, I'm up here sitting at that desk and talking with city council and asking them to spend money on projects and things like that, because I can ask, but I can't just go ahead and start making things happen without getting city council's approval as part of the checks and balances, right, of government balancing itself out. I have a question for all of you, since that was that was your last question, right?
Yes, that was our last one.
How many of you want to become city council members?
I think we just need to have
That's a lot.
future city
And if you think about it, there's, in the city of Athens, how many city council members are there? Quick math. 7 plus 1, that 1 is the president of council. Right? How many of you want to be lawyers?
After
After they tell us about that 3-hour bar exam, they have to take.
Yeah.
3 days.
Or how many of you would like to be a judge someday? Okay, a few more hands. You know, FYI, you usually have to become a lawyer before you can become a judge.
Okay, let's.
Now the big question. How many of you, and this is a job protection question on my part, how many of you want to become the mayor of the city of Athens someday? You can do it. Let me just share with you in parting, you can do it. You know, my challenge to you guys as a class, as young people growing up, is be engaged in your community, get involved in things, join clubs, you know, work in your neighborhoods, you know, start a campaign. I heard earlier, can we come and talk to council? Well, you can also, like I mentioned a minute ago, come and talk to the mayor. I'm open to people, young individuals with bright ideas to make our world better. And, you know, let's start right here in the city of Athens to make it better. But, you know, with those that type of engagement, over time, you start to gain skill sets in terms of public speaking and things of that nature. And, you know, in time, if you still enjoy it, you know, and you go to college and beyond, you can become mayor. You know, it's funny. I'll tell you, when I was your age, I never thought about being the mayor. I remember kids keep teasing about they want to become president. It's like, oh, why would you want to become president? It never occurred to me, and it didn't occur to me till much later in life. But it's good to dream. You know, dream big. You can be anything you want to be. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
And thank you for the birthday song.
Surprise.
I was. So thank you.
Put your check back on your body, please.
All right.
Thank you.